The 110th Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces has prevented the advance of the Russian Army's armored fighting vehicles in eastern Donetsk region. The invaders, who launched an attack mainly with T-90 tanks equipped with anti-drone devices, armored personnel carriers and infantry fighting vehicles, were stopped by drone and artillery strikes. Realizing that it was impossible to advance, the invaders tried to move away from the battlefield. Although one of the tanks tried to cross a small river nearby, it failed. The survivors tried to get on other vehicles and move away from the area, however were stopped by artillery and drone strikes. As a result, all vehicles and infantry soldiers participating in the attack were destroyed.
– – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – –
Russian soldiers have shared images of their positions in the Kursk region of Russia after Ukrainian drone strikes. The young soldier says that they have been under Ukrainian drone strikes for 4 consecutive days, that there are deaths among their comrades, and that their armored vehicles have been destroyed. The destroyed armored vehicles are also visible in the footage. The Russian said that Ukrainian fighters are constantly targeting them, and that the drones are also preventing them from advancing.
День 4. По итогу мы нихуя дальше не продвинулись, потому что по нам не ебошит. Дальше туда мы пройти не можем. Просто тупо не можем пройти, потому что по лесополосе вон там они башки птички.
Days before the 3rd anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion, Ukrainians are as somber and tense as they were right before Moscow launched the war. Ukraine's stunning new threat comes from its once staunchest ally, the United States, whose support appears to be fading as President Donald Trump parrots the propaganda of Russian President Vladimir Putin while pledging to stop the fighting between the two countries. After their initial shock at Trump's false claims this week that Ukraine is led by a dictator who started the war with Russia, the Ukrainian people are rallying around a defiant president, Volodymyr Zelensky. Yes, he's not a perfect president, but he's not a dictator, said Katerina Karaush, a 25-year-old tech worker from Kiev who is like many Ukrainians. It feels like the whole world is against us, Karaush said. We may have different opinions about Zelensky, but only Ukrainian citizens have the right to judge his support, said Yaroslav Zelezniak, a lawmaker from the opposition party Holos, and to publicly criticize him too, because in the end, he is our elected leader. We have a president whom we support. During war, we are united, said Larissa, a 52-year-old resident from the northeastern city of Kharkiv, who refused to give her last name due to security concerns. The political rift with the US comes as Ukrainian forces, outnumbered and outgunned, increasingly struggle to hold back Russia's slow but steady advances. Speaking from the front lines, some Ukrainian soldiers said they were not panicking yet and not ready to give up the fight. Even if we don't get enough weapons or if funding is cut, that doesn't change our duty to fight, said a Ukrainian officer who spoke on condition of anonymity in line with military rules. No shells. We'll take up rifles. No rifles? We'll grab shovels. Trump echoed one of Putin's frequent talking points, claiming Zelensky, whose term expired last year, must hold elections. Elections are not needed right now because they should only take place when we understand the framework of a peace agreement with Russia, said Ilham Aliyev, a lawmaker from the opposition European Solidarity Party. Holding elections now would only benefit the Kremlin, further dividing Ukrainians and installing a new president who could sign a deal favorable to Moscow. An advisor to Zelensky, Mikhailo Podolyak, gave an additional reason for holding off any election until there is peace. Russia might seek to interfere in an electoral process that would already face significant challenges. Holding elections before a peace agreement with security guarantees is signed would be devastating for Ukraine, said Valery Pekar, a professor at Kiev Mohyla Business School. The US and Russia are now united in promoting the idea of elections first, then peace, which is the quickest and cheapest way to bring Ukraine down.